What's crack-a-lackin', guys? Somehow randomly was suggested a video on YouTube after watching something else, and it was Zachary K. Hubbard's video from Gematria. Let's see his channel actually. It's Gematria or Gematria like news. So I got his book, Letters and Numbers. Hopefully he doesn't mind that I'm going to be reading this. I'm only going to read a section of it anyway. But I'm telling you, it's worth $5 1,000,000 times. I mean, this guy's freaking a genius, sharing this knowledge for extremely cheap. I mean, seriously, I'm like, yo, bro, you should be charging hundreds of dollars. How much effort? There's over 700 pages in this thing. I mean, it's really intensive. But yeah, check out his YouTube. He's got two channels. Check them both out. Gematria Effect News and Gematria Effect Sports. Those are his two channels. Check them out. Intriguing stuff that you are not going to hear probably anywhere else. So I was going to read just the opening thing here because I was just inspired to share this. Letters and Numbers. So invitation to reader. Those who read and finish this book will gain a new skill and set of knowledge that will empower them for the rest of their life in more ways that can now be appreciated. Without the knowledge contained in the pages ahead, there are doors of understanding about the past, present, and future that can otherwise not be attained. This knowledge is owed to every person living, adult and child. It is as simple to learn as elementary arithmetic and as deep as time. My intent as your teacher of this age-old secret is to be as clear, logical, honest, evidence-based, and intriguing as possible. My hope is you will share this knowledge with your family and friends after you finish reading. The structure is as follows. Introduction to Letters and Numbers. A. Dedication. For the truth seekers. What happened? It's like they don't want you to know this info. I was printing it out. He said that his channel got shut down like 20 times, and I don't doubt it. So, 1. Why are there 26 letters in the English alphabet? The God code, letters, numbers, and bones. 2. The 4 foundational English ciphers, where geometry meets gematria meets English. 3. What Revelation 13:8, 666, number of the beast, reveals about mankind, history, and the Holocaust. So, I think he does give all of this info away for free, pretty much, in all of his videos. But this is a way for you to kind of, it's all like comprehensive. It's all, boom, it's all here. You don't have to watch every video, and you can usually read faster than watching a whole video. And in the videos, he will often repeat himself, because he has to get, when a person is seeing his video for the first time, he can't just be talking about, things that require a foundation, a past knowledge. You can't be talking about algebra if you don't know the basics, arithmetic. If you don't know 2 + 2, you can't be talking about more in-depth, advanced understanding. So this is how he starts it off, the most basic, and then he gets more intense here. So 4, the complementary ciphers, tributes to Hebrew gematria and Greek isopsophy. That's a word I've never heard before. So 5, numbers is language, 1 through 10, 11, 22, and sometimes 33. Russian Vids talks about 33 a lot. So this is kind of more, it seems like more true. Russian Vids is kind of fallen off the face of the earth with his latest videos, and they don't resonate as true. He's talking about Ivanka Trump being a transvestite and all this kind of weird stuff. Like, whatever, bro. This seems like the true path right now. So, did I read this? 6, sacred geometry is where language, letter, number, shape, and symbol meet. The letters and numbers of ancient history still with us. 7, Hermeticism, alchemy, and the 7 classical planets, especially the Sun and Saturn, the bookends of time. So he clearly believes there is a universe with planets. I'm against that belief. Although I'm open, I believe I don't have, evidence of either one, but I'm more of the understanding that we do live on a flat Earth realm in a dome, and the sun and moon are within the dome, not 93 million miles away. We're not hurling through space on a 66.6 degree tilt. All that's bullshit. But I think what he's going to talk about here could connect with where they came up with all these names, and how why they're pushing this doctrine and indoctrinating everyone in the world to learn about space when they're in school, or public indoctrination camps. It reminds me of Jeff Berwick, Barack drone bomber. Anyway, okay. 8. Kabbalah's tree of life, the Torah, Genesis and roots of the English numerical code. 9. The Greeks, geometry, gematria, isopsophy, and the mathematics of the Bible and New Testaments. 10. Who are they? It's loud out here. It's 6 a.m. Who are they? Rosicrucians, Jesuits, Freemasonry, King James, Francis Bacon, and the USA. Letters and numbers 1599 to the present. 11. The G-spot, Washington, D.C., Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, and the geometry of sex. 12. The Twilight Zone, the United States of America, NASA, and science. 13. Trumped, rigged elections worldwide, and the 8 U.S. presidents to die in office. 14. The Crusades, war and world war by the numbers, plus the U.S. military corporation. 15. September 11th, 2001, tarot cards, skull and bones, and the military-industrial complex. 16. Contrived Islamic terrorism and false flags in public places, schools, theaters, concerts, malls, etc. 17. The dead Kennedys and an eerily familiar family pattern. 18. Hate, how racial division has been programmed by mainstream media purposefully for decades. 19. Weather warfare by the numbers, 1952 Lynmouth flash flooding to the present. 20. Murder by numbers, the celebrity kill code, movies, music, media, sports, and government. 21. It couldn't have been scripted any better, undeniable evidence of rigged professional and collegiate sports. I've always had that sense. I've been telling my family ever since I was young that sports and all TV is rigged, staged, scripted. I didn't use the word scripted, but that's perfect. I couldn't explain it definitively with evidence, like he's about to do through numbers here, but I just always had that sense, and so it's awesome to be reading this. So the personal, universal side of the letters and numbers code. Chapter 22, the numbers of our lives, family, and loved ones. Does God speak through numbers? And Z, the outro, lessons of Father CR, the problem with secrets and the power of knowledge. So I did find it interesting. He talked in one of his videos of his father's phone number being linked to his name. And does God speak through number? That's an interesting question, because if you go to his calculator that one of his fans made, the Gematrinator, you can see if I can find it here. Because my phone number has a bunch of 3s in it, and everyone who I give my phone number to is like, it's a lot of 3s, and I'm like, yeah, I know. But I've had it since I was, for like 10 years at least. Hasn't changed. And when you do the Gematrinator Calculator, my name, Tom, is 33. It's like, what are the chances of that, right? So I encourage you to maybe look at your phone number, or look at the Gematrinator, and see if it lines up here. If the numbers in your phone number line up with the numbers in your name. So I did my full name and it didn't, but just Tom, my first name that most people call me by, reverse ordinal 33. So I'm like, whoa, interesting. Anyway, let's get into it, guys. I'm almost done here. I'm just gonna do it until I arrive at Target. Going to Target. So, dedication for the truth seekers, children, and coincidence theorists. This book is written for every English-speaking person in the world. and I hope to God it reaches the hands of every last person who knows the language. This book is especially written for every truth seeker who sees the lies being pushed by mainstream media and Big Brother and is looking for the solution to stop the agenda of deceit that is resulting in the loss of liberties and our feeling of safety in our own communities. Even more, this book is written for every English-speaking child who will be brought up in an education system that does not teach the single most important thing there is to know about the language itself, the numerical sequence behind it. Every child, as well as every person who reads this book, will gain knowledge that will advance their understanding of this world in more ways that can now be appreciated. For the child who does not enjoy mathematics, or reading, or writing, I imagine they will suddenly find a new heightened appreciation for each subject because of what is revealed ahead. As a caution to parents, there is some adult language in the later chapters, but don't let that be the reason your child is kept from reading what is within. For the child that does not learn what is taught ahead, they will be neglected of something they most certainly deserve to know. And the observation of certain language that is used to express sincere emotion is no reason to forego what I assure you is more important than any lesson they will ever attain in any public or private school classroom or any university course setting, even Ivy League. This book, without question, contains some of the most important knowledge ever revealed to the people of the earth that is long past due for learning. This book is also written for the coincidence theorist who has been programmed by the lying liars on the television and in the media and has learned to believe that the number of coincidences presented in the media is the way in which the world operates, which is by coincidence, which it is not. Take, for example, the story of Mason Wells, the Mormon missionary who survived the Boston Marathon bombing, the Paris attack of Friday, November 13th, 2015, and the Brussels, Belgium bombing of March 22nd, 2016, at least if you believe the long-nosed lying media. This type of detrimental programming and mind control over the gullible masses must be broken, and that is exactly what this book will do for any coincidence theorist who reads it. If you're reading this now and identifying as one of the many living and breathing coincidence theorists, I assure you that you are being mocked, and it is not beneficial to you or anyone else, other than the tyrants who are getting away with it. So please, read on, and you will be converted from a coincidence theorist to a much more fulfilling and powerful position, a truth seeker, and hopefully in time, a truth speaker. What is ahead will reward all inquiring minds. This is my guarantee. Thank you, and God bless you. So here's a little snippet from what he's talking about with this Mason Wells character. You can pause and read that if you want to, but I'm going to move on. Chapter 1. Why are there 26 letters in the English alphabet? There is no more perfect or logical place to begin our learning of the relationship between letters and numbers than by answering the most fundamental question to the study. Why are there 26 letters in the English alphabet? As we will uncover, the answer is as deep as time, dating back to the beginning of recorded history, and as insightful as one could hope. In answering the question, we will connect the spiritual, God, human anatomy, and the stars above, plus more. As we connect the dots, much light will be shed on the age-old beliefs. The body is the temple, and we humans are the children of the stars. Please know that as your teacher of this sacred knowledge, I do not aim to push any bias or dogma. I only intend to share what is based in verifiable evidence, and what inspires. In doing so, the scientific and the religious will come together, as the ancients once considered them part of the whole, or the oneness of this reality we share. For your personal reference, the letters 26 of the modern English alphabet are as follows. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. If you were to ask an English teacher why these 26 letters make up the modern English alphabet, you would likely be told it is because English is a Latin language, based in the 26 related letters of the Latin alphabet after the fall of Rome. Thus where the word alphabet comes from, the first two letters of Latin, alpha and beta, alphabet. That answer, while true, neglects the significance of 26 and why it was decided as the official count for English. which in its history has varied between 20 letters and 30 letters, same as Latin. To learn the significance of the number 26 and what sets it apart, we must travel back to the cradle of civilization, to ancient Babylon. Out of this early and extremely advanced society, which gave rise to Egypt, came the world's first alphabet, and with the alphabet came mysticism, still practiced today. Pertaining to language known as Kabbalah, it is in this same mysticism where the significance of the number 26 resides. In Kabbalah, the central belief is God created the world with language, by combining the number with the letter with the word. This is expressed in the foundational text of Kabbalah, the Sefer Yetzirah, or in English, the Book of Formation. In its opening paragraph, it states, in reference to God creating the world, He created His universe by three forms of expression: numbers, letters, and words. This belief about creation from the Book of Formation is in line with the beginning of the Holy Bible, which begins with Genesis, where God speaks the world into existence over the course of 6 numbered days, before resting on the 7th day and making it holy. If you have not read the story of creation from Genesis, God begins each day by making a verbal command. And God said, then bringing something new into the world, from light to water to land to stars to the sun and moon to plant life to living creatures, etc., before concluding with His last creation, mankind, who is brought into existence in the 26th verse of the Bible, on the 6th day, and both numbers, for very specific reasons we will reveal. The book of Genesis, long before being translated into English, was first composed in Hebrew, the Semitic alphabet with roots also dating back to Babylon, same as Kabbalah, and same as every Latin-based language due to Latin being based in Greek, and Greek being based in Hebrew, which traces its origins to the ancient Phoenicians, who became part of the Babylonian civilization, and are credited with the world's first alphabet. So like hooked on phonics, right? Phoenicians. Are they phony? I'm just making stuff up. According to Kabbalists, Hebrew was crafted in tribute to the way in which God created the world, which is why each character of the alphabet represents a letter, as well as a number, same as its predecessor, Phoenician alphabet. This is where the number 26 connects. In Kabbalah and in Hebrew, it is the number 26 that represents the 4-letter name of God, known as the Tetragrammaton, translated into English as YHWH, Yod He Vav He, from Genesis, the first book of the Torah. Below is the math for the numerical value of YHWH, pronounced Yahweh, and written in Hebrew as that. If we read English the same way as Hebrew, right to left, HYHWHY is how we would read YHWH. Thus, the first Hebrew letter is Yod. Or no. Yeah, it's that, so it would be H. Interesting. I'm not sure what he's trying to get at there. 10 plus 5 plus 6 plus 5 equals 26. Blank is the 10th, I think it's a Yod. Yod is the 10th Hebrew letter. He is the 5th letter. Vav is the 6th, like monster, right? The Vav, 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 666 for the M and monster. And He, again, is the 5th letter again. It is important to note that the first Hebrew letter of the 4-letter name of God is Yod. That's what I thought. Very similar to the English word God. In chapter 5, we will uncover the greater significance of Yahweh, beginning with the 10th letter of Hebrew. For now, consider it is Yahweh who provides the 10 commandments to humanity through Moses in Genesis. Also, if we dare to become a little more abstract in our thinking, the 10th letter is the first letter of Yahweh's name. Something like 101 if we combine the digits 10 and 1. In English, the word Hebrew sums to 101, the 26th prime number, as does the Zohar, the most important text to Kabbalah, after the Sefer Yetzirah. For another 101, 6 days also computes the number of days it took God to create the world per Genesis. In Hebrew, the word of mathematics equates to 101. It is this relationship with 101 and 26 that provides the reasoning for why Joseph Smith, the founder of the Mormon faith, spoke to the angel Moroni on September 21st, 1823. The day leaving 101 days left in the year on the Gregorian calendar. As we will learn, the name Joseph equates to 26, and so does faith. And as will become clear from here until the end cover, prime number relationships are paramount in this alphanumeric coding system, which at its heart is based in mathematics and real-world relationships with numbers, especially pertaining to time. It is also for this reason the Disney film is titled 101 Dalmatians, which of course is about dogs. And as you will soon learn, the word dog, just the same as the word God, sums to 26. And in case you have forgotten, prime numbers are those only divisible by the number 1 and themselves. Thus the only numbers that divide into 101 are 101 and 1. Now let us continue with the spelling of Yahweh. The letter Yod, the 10th, is then followed by the 5th letter, He, then the 6th letter, Vav, or Waw, and completed by the 5th letter, He. Not by coincidence, using the English alphabetic order, the word God also sums to 26, pairing nicely with the 26 letters of the alphabet. The math for God is as follows. God equals 7 plus 15 plus 4 equals 26. God is the 7th letter, O is the 15th letter, D is the 4th letter. This practice of coding numbers into words into numbers is traditionally known as Gematria, or Gematria, when practiced within Hebrew, and Isopsophy when practiced within Greek. Not by surprise, if you write Gematria code, it too totals 101. In the Bible, where the code is based, it concludes with Revelation, where one of its most known verses, Revelation 13:18, pertains to the number of the beast and the number of a man. That number is 666. This verse is traditionally known as a Greek isopsophy riddle, where in ancient Greece a sentence would be written serving as a clue that was also paired with a number for the reader to solve. Keep in mind, the Greeks wrote the New Testament of the Bible ending with Revelation. As you'll learn in chapters 3 and 4 in English, isopsophy sums to 666, same as humanity and Genesis, where man is created on the 6th day of creation in Genesis. Not unrelated, the name Batman sums to 666. And in the Batman film where Jim Carrey stars as the Riddler, he introduces the concept of isopsophy through alphanumeric puzzles written for Batman that secretly code the Riddler's next planned devious act. Now for your knowledge bank, before we get back onto the number 26, the Revelation 13:18 riddle is as follows. In the NIV, this calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insights calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666. The wisdom and insight is coming, truth seeker. In the chapters ahead, we will examine the overlaps between Hebrew, Greek, and English. And the next chapter, you will learn how to calculate each of the bolded words that follow, which in English all add up to 26. As we covered, God sums to 26, so does Yahweh in Hebrew and English, so does Adonai, another common name for God in Old Testament meaning my Lord, so does Babylon, the birthplace of Kabbalah and language and letters. So does Thoth, Egyptian god of reading, writing, mathematics, thought, and more. So does Greek, practitioners of the code, who wrote New Testament that is 260 chapters. So does Zeus, Greek god. So does Apollo, son of Zeus. So does Emmanuel, Christian name for Jesus. So does Abraham, patriarch of Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. So does Joseph, spiritual figure in Abrahamic religions. So does letter, 26 letters in the English alphabet. So does spell, what do we do to create words or cast magic? So does read, we read letters. So does Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, given to humanity 26 generations from creation. 26 generations from creation. So does count. Kabbalists count the numerical values of the letters, words, and verses of the Torah. So does add up. And so does Adam, where Adam is the name of the first man who is created in the 26th verse of the Torah, in the image of the gods. And yes, the word image also sums to 26. As we read the 26th verse of Genesis, keep in mind the author is said to be Moses. born 26 generations from Adam, and responsible for the first 5 books of the Bible. What is the Torah, or commonly referred to as the 5 books of Moses? Those books are Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Please pay mind, the 4th book is titled Numbers, where 4 represents foundation in numerology, and to Pythagoras, the Greek great, the isopsephy enthusiast, who is said to be the father of numerology and mathematics, what he called the tetrad, representing God, not unlike the 4-letter name of God, Yahweh. Also related, the 4th chapter of Genesis is exactly 26 verses. Now, without further ado, the 26th verse of the Holy Bible is as follows. Genesis 1:26 in the NIV, "Then God said, Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." In light of the encoding of 26 uncovered thus far, the next question becomes, what does God have to do with 26? And what is the significance of man being created in the 26th verse? The answer to the question is in our anatomy, another word summing to 26. Wow, that's a lot of 26s. Because every human being is constructed of 206 bones, and we as people are one of the rare species that stands upright, with each of our feet and ankles containing 26 bones apiece. Again, a man is made in the image of the gods, so if the digits 2 and 6 are relating to man, then they are also pertaining to God, according to the Kabbalistic interpretation of the Holy Bible. Building the evidence of the significance of the number and its relationship with us as people, the words bones, carbon, and calcium each sum to 26 as well. Of course, man is made of carbon, the 6th element on the periodic table, much like mankind being on the 6th day of creation. Even more, carbon as an element is said to have 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons, similar to how Revelation 13:18 of the Bible proclaims 666 to be the number of the beast, as well as the number of a man. When you realize 13 is the 6th prime number, and 18 factors into 6 plus 6 plus 6, that verse becomes all the more interesting. We'll learn what makes 6 special in chapter 3, called a perfect number, and what it has to do with the word man in the light of Revelation chapter 13 verse 18. Carbon is also considered to be the God element, existing in all living things, and our bones are rich with calcium, as well as iron, the 26th element on the periodic table, a subject for later, where we uncover undeniable parallels in science, spirituality, and Kabbalah that brings much clarity to the world we are living in, and how this alphanumeric coding is impacting our understanding of it. From the Big Bang to Genesis to evolution to NASA and beyond. Let's see what he says about NASA, huh? Continuing with the connections to our anatomy and number 26 is the word skeleton. As mentioned, prime number relationships are crucial in this study of letters and numbers. Just as Hebrew sums to 101, the word skeleton does too, which again is the 26th prime number, corresponding perfectly with the value of 26 for bones. For a little more fun with bones, the word dinosaur also sums to 101. You probably remember your early schooling days and how some of the earliest knowledge you encountered was about dinosaurs. You likely also recall how in your middle school, high school, and possibly collegiate career, introductory classes were numbered 101. Not by coincidence, the word teach has a numerical value of 26. And on the subject, so does the name Oxford, the oldest English-speaking university in the world, not too far from where the first dinosaur bone was discovered. In England as well, the land of the Queen, also summing to 26. As we will cover later, it is no coincidence the Queen of England, Elizabeth II, a dinosaur in her own right, began her reign on February 6, 1952, written 2-6 in the United States, and celebrated her coronation June 2, 1953. Written 2-6 in the UK. Of course, 2-6 is similar to 26, matching the numerical values of crown and royal, as will also become evident, especially when we discuss murder by numbers in chapter 20. The dates of the calendar year are very much a part of this alphanumeric code. that is entirely in tune with the Gregorian calendar, or the common calendar. Just wait until we uncover Princess Diana's August 31st, 1997 death, and the clear connection to Queen Elizabeth II. For another tie-in with bones, the word graveyard also sums to 101, and grave alone totals 26. Of course, graves and graveyards are full of bones, as well as being spiritual centers. In Chapter 3, we will uncover something very powerful about our skeleton and how it relates to this ancient alphanumeric system even more deeply, tracing back to an old Kundalini belief about human enlightenment, traveling up the 33 vertebrae of the spine, and empowering the mind's eye, pineal gland, third eye of the brain, a word also summing to 26, just the same as temple, the name for the place in the skull that is outside the temporal lobe, which is responsible for language comprehension. On the subject of the brain, the words think, focus, and logic equate to 26, as does Plato, the father of philosophy and thought, the well-remembered Greek who created the world's first university, where this same knowledge you are learning now was once shared. The test each student had to pass before joining Plato's university was having basic understanding of geometry and the stars. As we'll get into, the word gematria means geometry within language. If you could comprehend these subjects, you were admitted. Fittingly, comprehend sums to 101, and the word test sums to 26. Based on the subject of our human anatomy, the words human, the words hands, and thumb each total 26. The physiology of our hands, having opposable thumbs, meaning our thumbs can touch each of our other fingers, sets us apart from most other living species. It is this ability of our thumbs that allows us to grasp things, from the pen to the hammer, which in turn gives us the ability to create, from writing to drawing to construction. Opposable thumbs are only found in primates, including apes and monkeys. Of course, our entire body, hands and all, is covered with skin, the largest organ we have, where both words equate to 26. The ancients believed our skin's ability to regenerate after being scraped or cut was a certain sign of God within us all. This is closely related to the generative principle, which speaks to man's ability to procreate. Throughout history, the phallus, an erect penis, summing to 26, has symbolized this very concept. Another part of our anatomy that is a crucial part of language and having gematria of 26 is our tongue, matching the 26 values of spoken, oral, sound, and noise. Consider that for tens of thousands of years, language existed only orally prior to the first known alphabet being recorded by the Phoenicians. Even more interesting, Kabbalah was taught for centuries only orally as a means of keeping secrets. Another 26. Kabbalah was not meant for the unfaithful and therefore was protected. Speaking of which, faith, karma, hope, and atone each equate to 26, as do heaven and hell. As will become understood, there is much duality in this language, as there is in all other things of this world. Regarding secrets and duality, there is a secret society, a brotherhood, who are very much students of the dualistic nature of this world. That certainly has had a major role in the crafting of the English language as we know it. And no doubt the English subscribes to the motto as above, so no doubt the English translations of the Bible as we know them too. Before unmasking this society, which subscribes to the motto as above, so below, and the body is the temple, let us quickly read from 1 Corinthians, where the body is said to be the temple. 6:19. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. In light of the verse being 6:19, the word body sums to 19, mankind made on the 6th day of creation. After reading the verse, please recall God made the body of mankind in the 26th verse of the Bible, which is the temple, 26, where if you add up the bones of a person, there are 206 in count. The fraternal organization The secret society, where the qualifying belief for membership is that you believe in God, pays great tribute to this concept and the naming of their meeting place. They are Freemasonry, and their meeting place is referred to as a Masonic temple, summing to 206, same as the number of bones in the body. Members of these temples are commonly called Masons. They are scholars of the Bible, especially the Torah, and the majority of their lore is based in Kabbalah, as admitted by notable members and authors of the fraternity, such as Albert Pike and Manly P. Hall, both of the 33rd degree, a top honor in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Fittingly, the word Mason alone has a value of 26, connecting with God, Torah, temple, faith, and bones. As we will uncover, this network is using a powerful tool, the lie, another three-letter word summing to 26, to play God over the masses. Please know that when I say this network, I am speaking to its upper echelons, not the common members in the local lodges, who are mostly good people looking for brotherhood and further understanding of this special world we share, and who are mostly ignorant of the fraternity's transgressions. Also related, the word nose, another part of our anatomy, adds up to 26 and ties in with the age-old belief about liars and long noses. Hello, Pinocchio. Of the many Masonic fraternities in the world, one of the most well-known is Skull and Bones, the elite society at Yale in New Haven, Connecticut. This society is paid tribute to in the 33rd episode of the original Batman TV show, where it is stated that Bruce Wayne's, Batman's, great-grandfather founded Skull and Bones. In this secret society's existence, it has put at least two men in the White House, George H.W. Bush and his son, George W. Bush, who the latter of which was the president in office for the tragic September 11, 2001 date, a date surrounded by monumental and catastrophic lies. In the chapter on September 11th, we'll discuss the significance of the destruction of the two towers in light of the history of the destruction of the two temples of Jerusalem, Solomon's and Herod's, and the crusades that came later in history. The word crusade sums to 26, and it is no mistake that the United States invaded Afghanistan exactly 26 days after September 11th on October 7th, 2001. In history, what was lost with the destruction of Solomon's temple, the structure that all Masonic temples are built in tribute to today, and Herod's temple after that, was the biblical Holy Land, to the Babylonians first, then the Romans, summing to 26. Second, Romans is also the sixth book of the New Testament, that again is 260 chapters. The followers of the Holy Bible did not reclaim this lost land until after the Crusades. When it was taken back, it was on the behalf of the papacy, office of the Pope, of the Catholic Church, yet another 26. In chapter 4, you will learn how Catholic sums to 351. What is the 26th triangular number, meaning if you sum the numbers 1 through 26 together, they total 351. In the chapters ahead, you'll also learn how Catholic Bible sums to 101, again the 26th prime, and why it is 73 chapters instead of the typical 66 found in the King James Version and the New International Version Bibles. Also pertinent, Antioch of modern-day Syria was the first city to fall to the Crusaders. In the Holy Bible, it is Acts 11:26 that mentions Antioch, emphasis on the 26th verse of the 11th chapter, where the first Christian church is established. Connecting 26, the word church sums to 101, same with the word Christian. There's more to the story that we'll get to in time, but as you can begin to see, by knowing the code, you can gain appreciation for how history repeats itself, such as invading Afghanistan 26 days later, and the war being waged by a Christian president who had very divisive rhetoric about Islam. Crusades were Christians fighting Muslims. For your historical reference, the Crusades are connected to the Knights Templar, who became the protectors of Christians traveling to the newly reclaimed Jerusalem at the conclusion of the Holy Wars. Today, the Knights Templar are a Masonic fraternity with a stipulation that not only must you believe in God, you must be a Christian. Fittingly, Knights Templar and Christianity are matching names in Gematria, as we will uncover. I think it's open. I'm gonna call it quits here in a second. I'm gonna finish this paragraph. Bringing us back to 26, the word Templar means temple, and the name Knights Templar truly stands for poor fellow, soldiers of Christ, and of the Temple of Solomon. After the Crusades, the Knights Templar took the Temple Mount to be their headquarters, the same place Solomon's Temple and Herod's Temple once stood. Fittingly, just as temple sums to 26, so does the surname of the man who is credited with establishing the Knights Templar. He was Hugues de Payens, a French knight and nobleman. If you take the full gematria of his names, Hugues de Payens, it totals 62. The reflection of 26 will save 62, closely related to the number 26 for later chapters. Oh, buddy.